right. All right, guys. Hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Tonight we're in the Lion's Den, and tonight we got Mr. Bill Thompson from Magnolia Paranormal out of Winfield, Louisiana. Hey, man, it took me a month to get. Oh no, hell no, a month and a half to get this
Yep.
guy on the show. A month and a half. And when I called him today, he was on the road and he was talking. Hey, he just got to talking. He ate this monster meal, man. Bill, tell the people what you ate.
Well, we went to a place over in Alabama that they throw the roll to you. I mean, across
Mm.
the room. Of course, I waited till the guy come by and I got mine off the tray. But I had a big old plate of roast beef, mashed potatoes and gravy, turnip greens and cornbread, baked beans. I had black-eyed peas. I didn't even have room for dessert.
Ooh, wait. I mean, that's a lot of starch, but damn.
Oh, it
I
was
can.
good. It was worth
I,
every penny.
ooh, how much you pay for that?
Well, me and my sweetie and we got a cup to go. About $70.
Ooh,
Place
wait.
place
Well,
called Lambert.
well, you know what? If it's good, it's good, man. You can't. You got to go all out if it's good. I mean, you only live once. That's what I
That's right.
always say. But hey, man, welcome to the show, Bill.
Thank you, Peter.
Tonight's show is gonna be everything Louisiana.
Well, we're gonna
Everything
throw a little
Louisiana.
scripture in there too.
Okay, well, we could throw that in there too. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we're gonna take a quick break, and I gotta pay some bills. But I am gonna come right back, and we're gonna jump right into the show. So
All right.
we're gonna be right back. I'm gonna play something. I don't know if you listened to this, but I'm gonna play something I think you would remember.
All
Life
right.
here began out there, far across the universe, with tribes of humans who may have been the forefathers of the Egyptians, or the Toltecs, or the Mayans. Some believe that there may yet be brothers of man who even now fight to survive somewhere beyond the heavens.
Now, if you don't remember that, something's wrong.
Man, that goes way back.
Yes, man. You know, the intro to that, to that TV show, it has a lot of what ifs on it. And I don't mean to throw, ufology at you right now. But what do you think about the first 20 words that guy was saying on that intro?
Well, it first off it brings back memories, and I think he's experienced something. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it the way it does. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
He's been there.
Oh yeah. I think he's been there. I think he knows a little something, something, something. You know what I'm saying? But Bill, how many years you been investigating, brother?
Well, I'm fixing to start my 49th year. 49th year. I've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it long before all the cute electronic gadgets and stuff, and back when there wasn't that many people doing it. You know,
Mm. Wow.
Let me give you a little background, Terry, of how I
Okay.
really got. As a young man, when I was a kid, my mother always told me I was fascinated with death, and I have been.
Mm-hmm.
Always been fascinated and wondered about the great beyond, what happened to us. Um, in my working career, I was an undertaker for over 25 years.
Oh
I
wow.
experienced a lot of stuff in the funeral home, and then the last 35 years, I was a forensic death investigator. So being around the funeral homes, that's what really got me started into the paranormal investigation part.
Mm-hmm.
Experiencing things there at the funeral home. You know, things go bump in the night. And when I got started, I was using dowsing rods, an old jack ball. Um, and those that can remember jacks as a kid, that ball was real hard rubber. I mean, you could drop it off a two-story building, it's still not going to bounce, but about 6 inches. It's just hard
Mm-hmm.
rubber. And then an old ever-ready flashlight made out of aluminum. You turn that light on and loosen it just a little bit where the light would go out. And then the spirit would be able to touch it and make that light come on. And the reason I used that ball is because it was heavier than just a regular rubber ball. So
Mm-hmm.
it took a little for something to move it. Uh, to this very day, my son and I, we've got all the cute electronic gadgets, but I still like using dowsing rods. When we do a investigation with a group, I have enough dowsing rods for everybody to use, and I teach people how to use them. And what's funny is they'll be looking at me and going, "Oh man, you're crazy! You're doing that." So I'll take my dowsing rods and put it in their hand and teach them how to use it, and go back to asking questions, and the rods move. A lot of times they just throw them on the ground. Said, "Oh my God, they move!" What? Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
That's
What
how I got started in the paranormal field.
man? 49 years, bro. You have seen not only people come and go that were into this field. You've actually seen, this, this field evolve to what it is now.
Right, right. Uh,
And you can actually have an idea on the potentials that it can be.
right. Um, it, are there ghosts? Well, I don't know. Are there spirits? Yes. Do they interact? Yes. And what bothers me the most is these young people, jumping up playing with the Ouija boards and stuff, and
Hmm.
trying to become ghost hunters without being with somebody that's been experienced. That's where people get hurt. A Ouija board. If you're playing with one, don't come around me. Because you can, well, you can open a portal and let something in that doesn't need to come in. And if you don't know how to close that portal, well, whatever came through is trapped with you.
Hmm.
I've I've had some young people have problems from that. Of course, I would get them in touch with a demonologist and help them get through that. Um, that's one thing I don't play with is a demonic entity. If I go in do an investigation, there's one there. Well, I've got people I call. Have I been trained in it? Yeah, but Bill don't play with it. I let
I, under-
somebody that deals with it more often. I turn it over to them.
I understand that, man. It's certain things that certain people shouldn't mess with.
Right,
But it's Bill, this as much have this field has, I was gonna say revolutionized, because this generation actually revolutionized, a lot of stuff that, when you started out, like you say, voice recorder, that little tape, dowsing rods, so this generation actually, you know, actually, evolved everything. Everything is
Right,
like so digitalized, everything is so electronics, people are forgetting to use their own senses,
right.
and that's
Uh,
something that I try to use eyes, ears, and the
and
sense of feel and and all that. Yeah,
and right there, if you get a funny feeling, you better pay attention to that feeling. That's God talking to you that you don't need to be there. You better
yeah,
leave.
yes, sir. Uh, you know, let's talk about. Have you lived in Louisiana your whole state? I mean, your whole life?
Uh, well, I was actually born in Mississippi, and
Okay.
when I was three, my mother moved me to North Louisiana. So I spent a lot of time in Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, and right now I'm back in Mississippi. I'm over here working and living right now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I still have my place in Louisiana. That's where my team is basically based out of. Uh, but
And I know you've investigated many locations in your life, and I know you've been to investigated in different states. But if you
I,
had to pick, but if you had to pick a state that gave you the most heebie-jeebies, what state would it be?
that would be Louisiana, the
Mm.
New Orleans area. We did a group investigation down there in New Orleans. It's called the Blue 60. It's a bed and breakfast, and it's divided up into basically seven. Well, you can't say rooms because they're double rooms. Seven apartments. Let's say that. It's a big house. We had six paranormal teams that spent the weekend at that particular house, and the seventh, we had two paranormal teams that actually ran the weekend, and
Hmm.
we had a total of 11 different paranormal teams came in for an investigation on Saturday night, and they divided us up. And what they would do is we go from one apartment to the next apartment to the next apartment, and we did six of those. And then the neighbor had a big house next door, and he invited us over to do our reveal. That way, we could get everybody in there, and we all agreed that the Blue 60 in New Orleans is haunted. Now, one of the rooms we went to, a lady asked for help to cross over. She was stuck; she couldn't get crossed over, and so we helped her. And myself and a couple of other investigators believe that that is where the Axe Man of New Orleans started out, is in that particular house, because the room we were in, the man had killed his wife with an axe and cut her up and burned her in the fireplace.
Mm.
And when he did that, that's when the axe murders started. The next one was about a block from where we were at. And so we think maybe that's where the Axeman actually started. He did these other killings to throw everything off um, about him killing his wife. He never was arrested or convicted of it, and the Axeman of New Orleans never was caught.
Oh hell,
And
he's still out there, huh?
no, no, this was the time he would be dead by now. But
Ah,
we think
darn.
that's where that started. And we did some other places there in New Orleans. I can't mention because they were private, you know. So we got to keep that quiet. but we
I
talk.
understand that. Trust me.
But our honey hole, I call it that. because, well, we're not able to do it this year. But this would have been our 11th year at the Bonnie and Clyde Festival there in Gisborne, Louisiana. They have a festival Memorial Day weekend. On Saturday, they have what I call a dog and pony show. They have the shootouts there in town. They got the vendors and all like that. And what we would do, we would do a paranormal investigation that night at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we do it. We've done it. Probably about 20 times now.
Oh, wow.
Not just at the festival, and it's active. We have gone so much that Bonnie will interact with my son Alex on request. I mean, he will ask her, said, "Bonnie, would you call my name?" Okay, Alex. Because you take a picture of him and picture of Clyde, and it's scary how much the two resemble each other.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
We do the museum, and then we go out to the kill site, end up out there at the kill site. Now at the kill site, we interact with Bonnie and Clyde, the same way there at the museum, but sometimes at the kill site, we get a young man there. One year at the festival, there was a boy come through on a motorcycle and came up on the activity there, laid his motorcycle over, wrecked, and he ended up dying from his injuries.
Mm.
We interact with him sometimes there at the kill site.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Perry has ceased all paranormal activity investigations at the museum for now, until we can get back active with him.
Wow.
So,
How does your wife? I mean, your significant other. What does she think about what you do? Does she go with you?
she has, but she's not really been able to experience much. You know, she hears the gadgets, things like that, but I think she's wanting a little more activity, like maybe being touched or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that this evening after you and I spoke on the phone, and I told her, I said, I stopped and think about it. I've been touched, I've been pushed, I've been scratched. Last year, we were over at Mineola, Texas. They have a Paracon there. A good friend of mine, George Jones, puts on a Paracon there. And we were at, it's an antique store now.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, my legs started burning. And by the time we left and got back to the hotel, I had a deep scratch on my leg. And
Oh, wow.
I was wearing blue jeans, so I couldn't have brushed up against something.
Yeah, man.
And other places there, we got some activity. But I've gone to there at Mineola, and also there in Tyler. So they used to have the Paracon in Tyler, and they have since moved it to Mineola. And in fact, with George Jones, I don't know, I might have been the first to do it, but I did a remote. I've done 5 remote investigations with them. We would FaceTime, and they would leave me in a room with instruments in there, and they'd let me know when they left the room. We had cameras rolling, and I would get activity on the ghost box, or maybe the K2 meter, and stuff. So it was pretty cool doing that.
Wow. While you were in Mineola, did you get a chance to go to the powerhouse?
I have not. My son has been there twice. He's also been to the Haunted Hill House. And that Haunted Hill House, I'm going to have to give it a level 10. I mean, he was, one of the times he went to do some filming with a friend of ours, to get some ghost stuff. He was there less than 10 minutes and had major scratches on his back.
Now, is this because when you say haunted hill house, people are sometimes people get a little confused because there's actually two.
Well,
There's one in Gainesville, which is called the Haunted Hill House Manor. That's the one we're going to this weekend. And there's one in just east, I mean just south of there in what's that little town? I can't think of that town.
this,
We just went there
this,
2 weeks ago.
this one's in Mineral Wells,
There
Texas.
you go. Yeah, yeah, the one in Mineral Wells. Now, we wasn't able to get in that location, but we did able to go by and look at it. Hell, and it looks crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude. And there's so many other haunted locations in Mineral Wells.
Oh yeah.
The baker is literally right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Um,
then you got the military base right there.
well, speaking of military bases, there near Alexandria is there's several military bases. One of them is gosh, I've gone blank now. Um, you've got Camp Claiborne. There's a lot of activities there. Uh, this was oh God, I'll think of it here in a minute. But it's 10 square miles of an old
Mm,
military, and there's been a lot of killing there, even after it was a base. In fact, it got so bad that the government came in and destroyed all the barracks and stuff. And there's an active uh, satanic occult there.
oh
Uh,
wow.
a friend of mine, Matt Nugent, he and I and Alex went over there one night, and we went to one of their old locations. And boy, meters and stuff just kept going off. And when you have a device that gives you random words, it
Mm-hmm.
does not have it does not have cuss words on it. And
Mm.
it called Matt several names there. And as we were getting ready to leave, Matt was getting out the holy water.
Mm-hmm.
He had he had his key ring on his little finger. You know how you loop your key ring, hold it
Right.
on there? And I said something to him. I said, "Are you getting the holy water?" He said, "I've got it in my hand." That key ring shot off of his finger with sparks.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
oh yeah,
That
yeah,
that
and
is
that's
crazy. There's a location in Tyler. A lot of people don't talk about. Maybe you've been there in your past. Is Camp Ford? A lot of people
yes,
don't go to Camp Ford.
yeah. It's active. That's one of the places that I did the remote investigation, um,
Mm-hmm.
and we got a lot of stuff. And when George and Mark were walking around, um, I would ask them. I said, "Who else is there with y'all?" "Well, just us." I said, "There's somebody talking."
Oh
I
wow.
guess because I guess because of the phone system and the video and all,
Mm-hmm.
I was I was hearing it firsthand. Now, when they played back their recording, they heard it, and it was pretty wild.
Yeah, Camp Ford is one of those untouched gems. I really don't think a lot of investigators go there.
Yeah,
And I don't know why. It's not a bad place to investigate. I mean, there's a lot going on there, but a lot of people, you really don't know. They really don't talk about it. Maybe
yeah.
they don't want to take that 3.5 hour ride. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's it. That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's another cemetery right outside of Tyler that it's real active, but it's one of those you got to get permission to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't mention the name of it, but George has been able to get permission and you just get tons of evidence there.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned cemeteries because there is a lot of conflicting stories about cemeteries. You know, and I know you probably done a lot of cemeteries in your life. Uh, what exactly do you think that goes on in cemeteries?
Well, the cemetery, you do get a lot of activity. Um, and one of the particular cemeteries there near Winfield, um, we would go to it, and you could actually see an orb with your eyes.
Damn,
And
that must be a big orb.
really it wasn't, but it was blue, and it you followed it through the cemetery, and it would end you up at a particular grave each time.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. And the person was a young person that was killed in an automobile accident,
Mm-hmm.
and we got all kinds of. I mean, you could sit there and almost carry on a conversation with them. Uh,
Mm.
and at this cemetery, there was an old church. Before the church fell in, you could go in there and you get activity in the church. Now, one of the things that would interact with you was a couple of kids, and you would hear them on the recording. They would interact with you. They would giggle. They enjoyed it when you brought toys. We bring some Matchbox cars or Hot Wheel cars and put on the floor, and they would roll it uphill. If you sit it one
Really?
way, if you sit it one way, the floor was so warped it would roll across the floor. And you put it there, and they would move it, put it sideways. They would move it and push it up the hill, and then turn it loose and let it roll across the floor. Same way with the ball. They
Wow,
would
that
roll.
is interesting. Now, I will
And
if anybody has a video of that on YouTube, hey man, send me that video because I would love to see something like that. That would be very amazing. You know, but Bill, we're going to you know, we're going to turn, you know, change the subject a little bit. Uh your state of Louisiana, you know, it's one of those states where you really don't want to mess with certain
no,
things in there. You know what I'm saying?
no.
But let's talk about a subject that I've never talked with any other Louisiana paranormal investigator since I've been doing this. Let's talk about, if you're able to, let's talk a little bit about the religion of voodoo because
Oh, Lord.
I think voodoo has a lot to play into the paranormal in Louisiana.
It
And
does.
I also think, and the biggest question that I have is because there was a lot of Native Americans there too. How
Yeah.
did they manage to? Because they had to interact with each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how, now when you put those two together, man, that is one powerful, and I can't even call it a religion. What would you call that when you put voodoo, somebody that's practicing voodoo, and a Native American, and put those two together? What would you call something like that?
Well, I don't know the word for it, but the voodoo, that was a religion. They brought it from Africa
Mm-hmm.
in the United States, and it's still practiced heavy today, especially in the New Orleans area. There's a
Wow.
lot of people that still practice voodoo. Um, that's something that uh, I didn't deal with much because that was South Louisiana, and I'm more North Central Louisiana. But
Mm.
I've been around it enough to know that it's still practiced today. It's hard to describe.
Now, is it more are people more accepting to it today than they were 30, 20 years ago?
Oh no, no, no. It was stronger then than it is now. It's
Ah, okay.
not as many people deal with it, and of course you've got people that uh, deal with the dark side.
I didn't know
And
there was a
voodoo.
dark side of voodoo.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a dark side. Um,
Man, because voodoo is one of those religions, man, a lot of people in Louisiana do not like to talk about.
but like I said, you're going to find that in South Louisiana, the New Orleans, that area down in there.
Mm.
You'll find voodoo practice.
Now, you know what? I mean, I know it would be hard, finding somebody that's in a store and they practice. I would love to go in there and just feel the energy of something like that because I've never felt that type of energy when somebody is an active person that practices voodoo. And I can
Well,
imagine the energy is hella different than any other religion on the planet.
it is. Now, I think you and I talked, and you're going to New Orleans area next month.
Yes.
I'm going to put you in touch with some people
Okay.
to get in contact with before then, and they will put you in touch with some people because they're from the New Orleans area. They've got a paranormal team, and they know people. So I'm gonna
Right.
see if I can get you hooked up with somebody on Voodoo.
Well, you know what? I will appreciate it, man, because that's one religion that really scares a lot of people.
It is. It does, and it should. It should. If you don't know all about it, you need to leave it alone.
Yes.
That's one of these things.
And
Now, out of my years, I've only come up on one practicing witch, not Wicca, but a witch, and it happened to be at Bonnie and Clyde.
hmm
One of the years we were doing our festival, we got crazy activities there, um, and I was making contact with people that I never tried to make contact with. Um, it's just something I
Oh.
didn't want to do. One was my deceased wife, and she came through. And all the times I've done this, that's the only time. And when we got out to the kill site, we were able to make contact with somebody out there, and that was a part of the Bonnie and Clyde stuff. And my son had found out that a lady and her husband was she was a practicing witch because we kept getting on the ghost box. Watch her. We were thinking they were saying watch her, like
hmm
somebody watch her, but it was watch her. And Alex was able to pick up on it, and he went over and just asked her uh, what she did, and that's when she admitted she was a practicing witch. And
Mm.
because of her being there, we got a lot of unfavorable things there. So we basically shut it down. Now, I've been this way before I started investigation. I have a prayer, ask for guidance, ask for protection, and while you're doing a ghost hunt, if you've got to tell the spirit that they can't go home with you.
Right.
Now, when it's over with, we're going to sage. I'm going to anoint you with holy oil, anointing oil, and holy water, and that way I know you're safe when you left there.
hmm
But normally there at Bonnie and Clyde, it's just like sitting there visiting with them in the living room. That's how we've gone so much. And a spirit they know you're coming before you know you're coming.
Right.
They know. They know. But that was the only time I've had dealing with a practicing witch, and it caused chaos among the investigators.
Uh, wow. Bill, it's rumored that Louisiana has more gifted people in that state than any other state. Now, I don't
Yeah.
know if it's from voodoo practice. I don't know if it's something that's just in the water that that goes from generation to generation. I mean, because I've ran across so many people who are gifted, and guess what state they always say they're from? Louisiana.
Louisiana. Uh,
And I'm like, and so when I start asking questions, they always say, well, they always have that traditional Louisiana, uh, you know, I can't say homestead, but they had those traditional Louisiana upbringings. No matter,
right.
what color you are, or or this and that, they always say, hey, we've always lived in certain parts of Louisiana. We've always been around certain things that we couldn't explain. My grandmother and great great grandmother and great 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 grandmother
Right.
has always dabbled in this. I've always had that sense. I always had that third eye. I've always had that vision. I can always foretell the future. There is so many people that are gifted there, and it can't be just by coincidence.
No, it's it. I feel like it's something passed, like you said, generation after generation, and it's not everyone in that generation. It's only certain ones. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I have several people that are medium. I won't call psychics, but medium, and they can do remote readings for me. I call up on them sometimes whenever we go to a house, somebody's having problems. I make sure I've got one of them that I can call, and they can usually, once I get them on the phone or live like we're doing, they can sense what's going on, and they can help get rid of whatever's there. Growing up, I knew a lady that if anybody had a wart, and go to the doctor a dozen times and can't get rid of that wart, they go to her,
Mm-hmm.
pay her a dime, and she get rid of that wart, and it didn't come back.
Oh wow.
It's something that was taught to her by her grandmother. I knew another lady that, babies sometimes get uh, whooping cough or
Mm-hmm.
thrush. Thrush is kind of like blisters in their mouth. You go to the doctor and get all this medicine that's still there. This person would come over there and they'd take the child and they would be mumbling something so low you couldn't understand what they were saying. And they would suck the breath out from that child, and the next day it's gone.
Oh
And
wow.
here's medicine that you've been taking, um, and it didn't work. But them come over and do whatever they do. But there's a
Oh
lot
wait.
of people that does healing and stuff like that, and it's things that are passed down. Uh, but yeah, you got a lot of that in Louisiana. Uh, Let me tell you where I'm at right now. I'm over in Mississippi. I'm in Biloxi, Mississippi. I'm at a place called Beauvoir. It's the last home of Confederate President Jefferson Davis, and the house is active. I'm a tour guide right now, and I see him move.
What?
I see him move
I'm on
through
a
the house.
podcast, dude.
I see
Sorry
him
about
move
that.
through. Okay, I see him move through the house often during the day. There's one of the doors that's closed tightly. He'll open the door and I'll greet him. He just won't close the door for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the rooms where it was Mrs. Davis's bedroom. You'll be out back, and sometimes you look up at the window, and there she is standing there looking at you. There's a cemetery on site. There's 780 known graves here, and across the street, when it was a veterans home, a Confederate veterans home, there's a coliseum there now, but it was an orphanage, and so people are constantly seeing kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll look and they'll see a child running around there, and look back and they're gone. And this
Oh,
is people
wow.
that are not in the paranormal field, but they see it all the time. And
One moment. Where am I going to get that from? I don't know where to get that from. Check the closet. Sorry about that.
uh, and 2 weeks ago, first time I'd been told about hearing a child cry because
Mm.
under the edge of the property there was like a tunnel, a drainage tunnel, and two girls from the orphanage was under there playing, and the tide came in. One
Oh,
of them was
wow.
able to one of them was able to get out and get to safety, but by the time everybody else got there, well, the other girl was gone. And
Mm.
I'd heard this for years. I've come over here for years. Used to have a group here, and they would do a thing called Meet the Spirit. They do
Mm-hmm.
an investigation. And I was in the house the other day, and I heard a child crying. It was clear as we're talking now. And I looked at the house. I went under the house. I went outside because I was thinking that there were tourists there already, and I found nothing. And one of the other tour guides and I were talking about it, and I said something to him, and that's when he was telling me that that's exactly what I
Oh,
heard.
wow.
And the museum, let me tell you something. At night, it's alive over there. You hear all
Oh,
kinds
I
of
can imagine.
bumps and bangs, and it sounds like somebody sliding something across the floor. And, but that's the way there in the house. I mean, you're constantly hearing footsteps. I see shadow figures. Um, I contributed to Mrs. Davis. You know how some people walk real hard? They basically stomp, and I could hear her walk through the house. And that's in the daytime.
Oh, wow.
And, people, they say, well, do you have to ghost hunt at night? No. Whatever happens at night happens in the daytime, too. But
Exactly.
the reason we ghost hunt at night is because things are quieter. There's not as much street activity, noises like
Mm-hmm.
that. With what you're hearing.
Yeah, you're actually right about that. I'm going to change the subject a little bit because I think, you've been the OG, in this field. I just have to ask this question. What do you think about Hollywood?
Well, I tell people when they watch the TV shows, I
Mm-hmm.
tell them, you've got to remember it's a TV show. Don't believe everything you see. Now, some of them are pretty good about it, but like the TV shows, you got to remember it's for TV. Now, Hollywood, they have made some good films that is pretty accurate, and then a lot of them, again, I have to remind people that Hollywood.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's funny you mention that because I just finished my fourth um, film production just recently.
How'd
I've
that
been
go?
in, well, it's been great. I've been in 3 movies, and I was just in a scene for a TV show, TV series. and I
Okay.
was told that I'd probably make more appearances on that show.
Mm,
So,
all
and it's
right.
all out of New Orleans. All of it. Well, not all of it, but three of them was out of New Orleans area.
Okay. Now you do. Now we do know that there's a lot of kids that watch those shows.
Oh,
A lot of kids that want to do what we do. There's a lot of kids out there that want to do what we do, but they don't want to take the advice of somebody who's been doing it for a long time. They want to take the advice on somebody who's actually, been on TV, who really don't know what the hell they're doing and all that stuff. And, and it seems that they want to get themselves in trouble with at certain locations and stuff like that. So when people ask me what I think about Hollywood, I can't see any. I can see some positive, but I can see most of it that's negative because it's it's not really helping out the next generation of paranormal investigators.
there's more negative. I'm contacted all the time about somebody. Well, I want to be a ghost hunter. Well, where you at? Let's talk. Let me put you in touch with a group. Go with them first and see if this is something you really want to try. I tell young people, do not try it on your own. There again, because of the Ouija board and different things,
Hmm.
you can open up a portal, and demonic entities, they can get into somebody that, how do you say it, a young mind, you know, um, and people can get hurt with it. It's nothing to play
Hmm.
with. It's not a joke.
Nothing.
It's not. Um, so I encourage them to get with a paranormal group, a real paranormal group. Go out with them, um, try it out, learn from them. I had a group there in Winfield that thought they knew more than I did,
Mm.
and I told them they were going to one place, and I they had already been told one time to leave, and I told them, I said, well, you don't need to go back. I said something's gonna happen, and well, it did.
Oh boy.
But one of the ladies, uh, I went with them to another location, and we were going to sage them.
Mhm.
Now, the wind is, say, blowing east to west. So I'm standing with my back to the wind, trying to sage her. The smoke from the sage would go around her.
Oh.
It would start towards her and then go around. I would hold it down low, and it would go up and over her. I went around on the other side, and it wouldn't even go towards her.
Hmm.
It took myself and one other person, anointing her with anointing oil, uh, holy water, saging. It took me
Boy.
and the other person 3 times before we got her clean. And well, they didn't. They finally listened to the old man. You know,
Mm.
and I tell them, look, I don't tell you this for my benefit. I tell you this
Tell you
for your
for
benefit.
yours. Like I always tell you, man, the young don't always do what they're told.
Nope, nope.
They always think that they know what's best, and that's not always the case, and people have to realize, man, it takes a long time to understand certain things that you're really not supposed to understand. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Um,
it definitely takes some years, but it's how do you feel, Bill, about the next generation of paranormal investigators, the ones that are going to be out when we're long gone? Do
well,
is there is there any hope for them?
if they're trained and if they will listen and they will learn. My son, when he first got started, and he was um, he was probably 17 maybe before I let him start going with me. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted him of a reasonably mature mind going into this. And I told him, one of the first things you do is you don't ask questions up here. You verbally communicate it. Because if you start thinking up here, they're going to get in your mind. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't listen to Daddy. We were at a bar that was active, and he's sitting there with his eyes closed, thinking questions in his mind and stuff. And when he opened up his eyes, there was a demonic entity looking straight at him.
Oh.
Uh, and we had to do some stuff for him to get that off of him. But after that, he learned, and he does a good job. He's sensitive, and so things interact with him. We were over in Tyler at a Paracon, and we were out in the woods, and the woods, there had been like 5 Indian tribes that had been almost like a concentration camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally got my attention. He was off over in the edge of the woods. And I eased over there, and he was telling me that there's an Indian standing there holding a horse, and said he's mentally communicating with me. He keeps saying dream catcher, dream catcher. And I turned away. Every time I would turn away, it would show itself again to him. It wouldn't show it to me. He got a picture, but the picture is just a mist that we had. But it finally kept saying, look up, look up. And he looked up, and there was a dream catcher about 50 feet in the air. Well, we went and got the people that was over that property, and we asked them about
Mm-hmm.
it. They had never seen it, and they got the pictures of it, and it looked like it was probably 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
Been in that tree that whole time.
Uh,
Whatever you're swatting at, you've seen
so
it by here because it's gone by me twice.
I'm trying to get this damn fly. That's why I got this box. You know, I don't know where he went. Bill, how important, and this is a question that I ask a lot of people. How important is the Native Americans to the paranormal community?
It's very important. They knew things that we're still trying to figure out. You're there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think I lost you for a second.
No, no, I'm here. I can hear you.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
but they've known things that we don't know.
Mm. You there? Oh,
Trying to get back.
testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hello.
Well, I think I lost audio.
No, hello. If I can get it back here. Hello.
I can barely hear you, Terry. But yeah, I
Okay.
believe the Native
How about
Americans, they knew what was going on, and
okay?
and they're making they were able to make contact with things.
You
Maybe
know
their
why?
ancestors.
Yeah, but the biggest question is, who taught these guys to be one with, uh, you know, with the spirits. God damn it, and taught them to be one with with nature. Now, uh, there are some people in the paranormal community that thinks that nature and the paranormal are one. What do you think?
Uh, you have to say that again. Like I said, I've lost audio.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You, barely.
Okay, let me cut it up. All right, let me try this. What about now? Can you hear me?
It may be on my end. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
what about now? Can you hear me?
It's that fly. That's what it is.
Yeah, that damn fly. You know, yeah, I don't know how in hell he got in here. Look, can you hear me? Hello?
All right, let me try this again. Repeat your question.
All right, can you hear me now?
No, but we'll go from there.
A lot of people
Don't you
say
love
that.
technology?
Oh man, it's a pain in the damn neck. Yeah, watch this. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I'm gonna get him. It's just a matter of time. He's slipping. Quick shout outs, Mr. Bailey. How you doing today, sir? I'm doing good. There you go. Hey, all right.
that must be one of
Yeah.
your regulars there.
Well, Mr. Shock is from West Texas, man, and there's, there are tumbleweeds out there that are bigger than him. But yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I've done a couple investigations with him. There you go, you little fucker.
Somebody's gonna have to come exercise your house there.
Yeah, that damn. I've been trying to get this guy since last night. Okay, so a lot of people say that Native Americans, not Native Americans, nature and spirits are somehow, some way intertwined with each other. Do you think that's true?
I do. I believe that they, and it goes back to God, generations and generations. Uh, they're taught to connect with nature, with Mother Earth, uh, and the sky and the surroundings. So they may be in more tune than we are with things that's
Mm,
going on.
yeah, because in order to be, connected with nature, man, nature is because we still, you know what, we figure out so many things on this planet, but nature is one of those things we've yet to figure out.
We can't figure that out.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
But
that
we
may be why
know,
she's called Mother Nature.
yeah, because we know that she's there because we can feel her, we can see her, and we can feel her anger when she's upset.
Right, right, right.
But w- the natives were able to communicate with her, and they came to to an agreement, with her. So she was able to share some of her knowledge with them, and I'm thinking that they were able to share some of what they learned with her. Now I could be wrong. This can be just you know uh just something that I'm just throwing out there. I but how do we find out if we don't dabble into it a little bit so we can get a further understanding on what's going on.
Right. Um, your people like the medicine man. They seem to be able to connect uh, with things what better than most of us can, and they seem
Mm-hmm.
to understand. Well, of course, but there again, it's things that's been passed down generation after generation after generation, and so there may be something to it there. I, I fully believe that most Native Americans um, can connect with Mother Earth better than we can.
And you know what? I honestly believe that you're right on that. And and it's weird because not many of them are left, Native
Right.
Americans. You know, but the question, Bill, is there's no there. Okay, now I'm going to be honest with you. There were Native Americans on every state in this country.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There is no there's no way that you can tell me that all of them was wiped out by a
Oh no.
war. Where did they
No. No.
go?
No. There. I have several friends that are Native American, and they talk about their ancestors passing things down to them. And one friend of mine, she's a sensitive, and
Hmm.
she's really in tune with Mother Earth. And sometimes out of the blue, I'll get a message from her. Bill, are you okay? Oh, well, I've been down sick. Well, you need to do this, this, and this to,
Mm,
to get better. Well, okay, I will. And it usually works out. But I mean, there's got to be something there. Because how
gotta
did
be.
she know I was sick? How did she know I needed that information? But she said, every time she does that, she says her ancestors talked to her and told her.
Mm. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. So, if ancestors are able to communicate with individuals, why do people think that is such taboo? Why do people think that they shouldn't embrace, that their ancestors are talking to them? I don't understand that. A lot of people, when land in the bed and you hear that voice, automatically they think it's something paranormal coming at them. Which
Yeah,
all it is your grandmother saying hello, or somebody saying hey, or somebody saying
right.
something to you. And
Uh,
and it's crazy how people this day and age can actually think like that. I mean, let's start off something basic. Let's start off with the simplest things before we go out and figure out, oh man, a spirit talks to me.
well,
Eh,
I, I tell everybody first off, rule out the normal before you call it paranormal. But there's cases of like kids. I'm gonna give you one. A good friend of mine. They were living in Virginia, and they lived on a hill. And his son, who was 5 at the time, I think no 4. He was in the truck by himself. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this truck, the key was turned off, and my friend was taking groceries out of the truck, and the boy was able to pull the lever down. Now, it's not supposed to do that with the key off of it, and it didn't park, but it started rolling down the hill, and he tried catching the truck. Of course, he fell down, and the truck came to a stop at the bottom of the hill. It just stopped. Um, it it didn't hit a tree. It missed several large rocks and stuff. And he got down there to him, and of course the boy was all right. He was crying and stuff, upset a little bit, and he kept telling his father that there was a woman in there with him, telling him he's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to take care of you. You're going to be safe. And he kept asking him to, who was it? What did she look like? And when they were back up at the house,
Mm-hmm.
there happened to be a photo album there. And somebody had opened the photo album, was looking through it, and the little boy come through and he stopped and he said, "That's the woman right there." It was my friend's grandmother
Oh wow.
that had been dead 20 plus years. And the child was adamant that that was the woman in the truck with him, holding him, telling him he would be safe and he would be all right.
Wow. Now that's a good story right there.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And
is a
and if you watch these kids, you'll see them sometimes sitting there talking, and there's nobody there. Well, there's
mm-hmm.
somebody that they see, and because they don't have a mental block.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like close up magic. If you show a magic trick to a kid, you better show it to them one time. The next time you're caught, they'll catch it
Yeah, right.
because they don't have a mental block. Now, an adult, somebody can show us a magic trick a dozen times and we won't catch it because we've got that block saying it's a trick. I know it's a trick,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something simple. So kids, they do interact with spirits.
Mm.
I've had people, you know, well, my son has an imaginary friend. He's constantly talking to him. I said, well, I tell you what, you got a phone? Put it on record. Set it in the room. And they would do that, and they could hear somebody actually talking back to the child.
Wow. Now
You
I
know,
don't know if that's more frightening for the child when they hear it, or is it more frightening for the adult when they hear it?
well, mainly for the adult.
Right.
Uh, a child is comfortable with it,
Yeah,
but
they
when a
know exactly who
child,
it is.
I had a case that the child would not go to his room. The people had just bought a new house,
Mm-hmm.
and the child would not stay in his room. He would scream and cry, talking about the man in there, the man in there. And they said something to me about it, and I said, "Look, I'll get a team. We'll get over there and we'll see what's going on." And we went. We did some investigation. Of course, you always do your background investigation of the house and the first one thing you know. Well, come to
Mm-hmm.
find out, there was a man that had died in that particular room. And so we went in and cleansed the whole house. And after that, the child was comfortable in his own room. But there was somebody in there. The child was seeing it. There again, the child doesn't have a mental block, so they're able to see. That's like animals. When you see an animal sitting there looking up, well, they're seeing something that you can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, over there at Bonnie and Clyde, Perry Carver, who owns it, he's got a cat called Mr. Kitty. And he doesn't go back there with any other group, but he goes back there with us. And he stays in the back with us. And we'll notice him looking at something, and we'll start asking questions, and we'll get answers over there. And there's actually something there. Something
Mm.
interacts with him. We think it's Boots Hinton, because we would get Boots laughing on there. Now, Boots Hinton was the son of Ted Hinton, who was one of the Dallas County deputies that was involved in the ambush of Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde. Okay.
Yeah, and that cat, he was there when Boots was there, so I think he interacting with Boots.
Okay. Cool, man. Man, we can talk for hours about so much, but I know you've been driving, man, and I don't want to keep you up, hold you up any longer than we should. But a couple more questions, man, and I swear I'll get you out of here.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, we'll
you
have to
know,
do this again, Terry.
oh, definitely, definitely, because there's so much, man. I mean, you have so much knowledge. I mean, I just want to soak it all in, and I just wish that more people today will, have this certain understanding and a certain respect for somebody that has so much knowledge. I mean, kids today, if they, ran across you, and you trying to, show them or, tell them something, they don't have the. I mean, they'll look at you and and walk off.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have this sense of knowledge that you should share with someone. But I and we talked about this 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to be honest with you, Bill. I think that this generation, even though there are some out there that's going to be taught right, but there are some out there that's going to go their own way.
Oh
And once
yeah.
they go,
Yeah. Yeah.
and once they go their own way, that's where the crack in, the paranormal field's foundation is. It's going to start cracking. And as
Yeah.
much as we like to fill those cracks with positive energy, it's going to be a point where it's just going to crack, 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 and that
Oh yeah.
foundation
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
going to break. Now, and once that happens, we're going to have a whole generation of Hollywood paranormal investigators.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's not going to be good for us,
No.
because we are going to be a dying breed,
Yeah.
of
The
teaching, learning, showing, understanding, and the most important thing that these kids aren't doing is respecting.
that's that's it right there. You've got these out here that's playing their wannabes, and they don't respect. You've got to have respect. Um, that's like I hear it both ways. When I go in the house in the morning times, there's a door I have to go through. It's locked. Before I open that door, I knock on the window. I open the door and I say, "Good morning, Mr. President."
Hmm.
Talking to Jefferson Davis. And when I leave in the afternoon, I tell him, "Good afternoon, sir. I will see you tomorrow, or I'll see you, whenever." I'll tell him when I see him. And that may be why I get so much interaction with him, because
Mm.
I show respect to him. And it's not just him. When I go to a cemetery, I respect the people there. And that's what you got to do, is show respect. And when they do interact with you, you thank them. You know, every time they answer a question, I always tell them thank you. And you just got to show respect. Because
Yeah,
well, some of them doesn't realize that they're dead.
yeah. Some of
Yeah.
them want to continue interacting with you. I actually had a girl that was on the show 2 weeks ago, and she was in the cemetery, and she actually got patted on the butt. Like,
Oh,
okay.
well, we did a deal at Bonnie and Clyde, and we split up in two groups. Myself and I took. We call him Jesus. His name is Dusty, but he looks like a picture of Jesus hanging on the wall. Got the long
Hmm.
hair and stuff. He and I took a group, and we started out at the kill site. And I had a girl from Dallas that was kind of skeptical. And we were kind of up on the little hill there, and she was down there by the road. And I noticed she kept turning around, just spinning around. and there was nobody close to her. Well,
Mm.
then Alex and another friend of ours, Gene, he they started out at the museum, and then we swapped. And then while we were at the museum, um, she did the same thing. She spun around like somebody was behind her, touching her. And we went for the reveal, and we were there, and she finally stood up and she said, "Look, um, when I was out there, I thought my husband had showed up because he was supposed to try to come, but she said because somebody patted me on the butt just like my husband did." And I said, "Well, what about at the museum?" Same thing, except one time I was groped.
Oh, damn.
And I said, "Well, now do you believe?" Because see,
Right.
Clyde was a player. Um,
Mm.
I'll have a group. We do no more than 20 because 20 after that it starts getting crowded in there.
Right.
And I can look at some of the women and point to them and tell them, "Well, don't be surprised if you're not touched tonight." And they usually are, but it's
Mm.
all the same style. I mean, the same looks and all.
Right.
And we don't know whether it's Clyde or maybe Boots or somebody, but you can tell. And now some women they're over there at the museum, they'll start back there in the museum and they'll come back out because they get such an uneasy feeling back
Oh,
there.
wow.
But
Interesting.
uh, you know, when I'm on doing a tour with somebody, I'll tell them, I'll tell the spirits, now feel free to touch so and so,
Oh, damn.
and they'll what?
Oh,
And
ain't that something?
that they're not, but it's fun. You got to be serious, but you also have to have a little fun.
Mm. This question is for you, Bill, and I'm gonna throw this on the board and see if you can see it. In Winfield, how is the swamp energy in your area? Does it affect what's going on paranormal wise? I'm
When
thinking that's what he's saying.
there, ever who asked that question, uh, swamps are more south of
Yeah.
southern Louisiana. We have creeks and bayous and things like that. We really don't have any swamps there. Swamps are south of I-10, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Way south
now
of I-10.
I'm Winfield is in north central Louisiana. If you look at a
Or
map, on the west side of the state is Shreveport. You go straight across 20, there's Ruston, and you keep going, and there's Monroe. And
Monroe.
Winfield is south of Ruston, about an hour. So it's
Oh,
piney woods, but like I said, we do have some creeks and bayous and things, but not so much a swamp.
well,
And
it,
usually the only alligators we see is over at Natchitoches at the alligator farm.
I've got friends that's from Louisiana, and they always say, man, people that are in North Louisiana really aren't Louisianians. And
Right.
I'm like,
If you're standing in New Orleans and somebody says you're from North Louisiana, like I said, they cut the state off about I-10 right there.
right? You know,
Anything north of I-10 is Arkansas.
yeah, it's Arkansas. If
Yeah.
you're not a Bayou Bengal, then you're not from Louisiana. I mean, if you can't cook Cajun or Cajun food, and if you
Right.
can't live off the land like those folks down there in South Louisiana, you're not from Louisiana. I
Well,
mean,
we
it's
we do in North Louisiana. I grew up eating squirrel and rabbit and deer and eating things out of the garden, things like that. Fishing. Um, we got some good lakes up there. Fishing crawfish, uh, and So but it's just a different culture in South Louisiana because you have
Yeah.
such a mixed culture there. And the people in South Louisiana, they either like you or they don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like you, most times they're not going to tolerate you. Other places, if people don't like you, they will tolerate you, but not down there in South Louisiana.
I noticed that when I was in Lafayette. Man,
Uh, it's
Laf
Lafayette.
Lafayette. I mean,
Lafayette. Mhm.
Lafayette. There is a lot of old money in Lafayette,
Oh, yeah.
and man, because my son went to school down there, and dude, I felt. I mean, as you coming into the town, and you make that right going into by the university,
Yeah.
dude, you can definitely feel that. I mean, I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? You know, it's just one of those cities, man. It's either they like you or they don't, and it's a really diverse community from
Yeah.
what I saw. And I think the college rules majority of that town because the
Yeah.
university is so big,
Oh, yeah.
but it's yeah, it's one of the, and I couldn't find anything to do there, man. I mean, I didn't know what to do. Hell, I wanted to go ghost hunting, but I mean, let me rephrase that. I wanted to go investigate.
I'm going to put you in touch with somebody over that area.
You know,
Uh,
I, at that time, I did not know that B with Louisiana State Paranormal. She's from Lafayette, but she's never in Lafayette. She's
yeah.
always in a town I think, a little bit farther up north. But
Yeah.
hell, I didn't
She's
even know
more
them
up
at the
towards,
time.
she's up towards Alexandria area
Yeah, so I'm like,
where she's
oh,
at. Yeah.
hell, I couldn't even
In
find.
fact, I've turned some cases over to them because it was closer to them than to me. And
Right.
why should I make a couple of hour drive when they're 30, 40 minutes?
There you go.
That's the way
I
I
mean,
am. If if something's going on in your area, I'm going to put people in touch with you. I'm not
there
going
you
to
go.
come in your backyard. And if I do come in your backyard, I'm bringing you with me
Right,
because
right.
that's your area, and I'm going to get you involved. I had trouble with that out of a paranormal team one time before, trying to come into my area. And had they contacted me, I'd have come over there and visited with them and had a good time. Let them do their investigation. But hey, don't come in my backyard and not invite me. You know what I mean? Um,
You know what? That is a big thing in San Antonio, Texas. Man, there are so many paranormal, individuals that are feuding. Well, you shouldn't have came in my backyard. You shouldn't have came did this. You
yeah.
can't. I'm like, oh my god, dude. I'm sorry. If I'm
Well,
driving down,
in the Klein brothers from over that way.
I don't know who they are, to be honest with you.
They had a TV show called
Yes, they're from
Ghost
San
Lab.
Antonio. Yeah, they're from San Antonio.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
they were.
yeah, they're from San Antonio. Uh, yeah,
But
and I
Terry,
don't even
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
put you in touch with some people around the Lafayette area, and I'm gonna put you in touch with several people in the New Orleans area.
Oh, because I'm
And I've
definitely
got
going.
one around Lake Charles area and stuff.
I
Um,
am definitely going down there, man. And my first stop will be the charity hospital. You
uh,
know,
I'm
and
I'm gonna put you in touch with somebody about that as well.
and I know that
So in the
a
next few
big
days, I'm gonna
yeah, that's really
bombard
true.
you with pictures of
That's
people.
that's fine. I would love to. Better safe than sorry.
Oh yeah,
That's what I always say.
and
You
heck,
know,
I I might be able to slip off and meet you over there.
well, that'd be fine too, man, because a lot of people don't have the means to get that far south. But I'm
Right.
3 hours
Well,
away.
New Orleans is an hour and 40 minutes from me.
Oh, perfect. Hey, I'll meet you on the doorsteps of Charity Hospital. And hey, and if you can unlock, you can get that door open. Now, they're going to have to turn some electricity on because I'm not going to take the stairs and walk up that bad boy. They're going to have to turn some
You know,
electricity on.
you're not gonna go up there and see the Christmas tree.
No, man, I'm not going to walk. Man, you know how many floors is that hospital?
I'm not sure. 18 maybe. It may be a
I,
little more. I'm not sure.
hey, I don't
Uh,
think I really don't think these 20-year-old legs can make it up 18 flights of stairs. Now, your 20-year-old legs might be able to, but not mine. Oh man, that's nah. I'm good on that one. And I'm curious to go visit the most famous witch of them all. Over there
Marie
at
Laveau.
yeah. You know.
You'll have to go to St. Louis Cemetery Number One. It's owned by a church. They charge an admission fee, and you can't tell them that you're a ghost hunter.
Oh,
You
I
so
won't.
you can't hide equipment. They're gonna be watching you, but do bring your camera and stuff. And while you're in the cemetery to get to Marie Laveau's grave, well, you've got to pass by Nicolas Cage's grave that he has there. All
Mm,
these other places has got everybody else has got a family crypt that looks like a house or something.
hmm.
Nicolas Cage's looks like a pyramid.
And he's not even in it yet.
No, no, but now he owned a haunted mansion down there as well. But yeah, he's
Mm,
got a pyramid there in cemetery St. Louis Number One.
wow. Now, is that the most haunted cemetery there, or there's others?
No, there's others, but Marie Laveau is in St. Louis Number One.
Now, is
And
she?
her house is no longer standing. There's another house there, but it does have a plaque there saying that that was the site of her house.
Oh my God.
Now they're in they have a walking tour in the park that she used to preach at. I guess is the best way
Mm.
to say it. But I'm going to put you in touch with somebody that can put you on top of all that stuff.
Well, I would love to investigate that house.
Well, the house is privately owned. They don't let anybody in there, but like I said, they do have a plaque there saying that this was the site of Marie Laveau's home. Like I said, her home has been long gone.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, you think that energy is still there?
it is. We did some stuff out in front of out there on the sidewalk. We got a little activity.
Now,
Pretty good.
a lot of people from Texas don't know much about her.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh, she's the voodoo
it's
queen, and
she's the voodoo queen, and a lot of people think she's a myth. She's not really. She
no,
wasn't really
no,
actually a
she's real.
person.
She was a real person. Yeah, she's real, and you get a lot of vibes from her grave. Uh,
Mm. How
um,
many kids did she have?
I'm not sure. I know she had a daughter that followed in her footsteps as well.
Mm. Is she still around to this? Is she still around today?
No,
The
no,
daughter's gone too.
yeah.
Well, man, so it's got to be somebody that followed in her
Well,
footsteps.
there's people out there, but I'm going to put you in touch with a lot of people that can answer a lot of those questions. I'm going to put you in touch with a friend of mine, Samuel Bowles, who has Healing Hearts, a place there in down in New Orleans there. Um, he's an interesting guy. Samuel's a friend of mine. He's a good guy, and but I'm gonna put you in touch with several people. So
Okay.
you're gonna be able to make contact, and one of them, he's got some places that are kind of like his honey hole, and
Cool.
I'll get the two of y'all together, and maybe he can hook up with you and get you some places.
I'm curious to man. Thank you. I am very curious about New Orleans. There's so one thing about New Orleans is so shrouded in mystery. So
It
many
is.
urban legends, but but down there you really can't tell if it's an urban legend. I mean, an urban legend, or it's actually factual,
It's
because
factual. Yeah.
man, I beca- because I've discovered a friend of mine discovered a an abandoned city. It's supposedly called Vampire City or Vampire Town or something, where the whole town was supposedly it's abandoned now, where the whole town
Yeah.
is was full of vampires.
Wow.
I don't
Now
know how true that
there's
is.
vampires there in New Orleans. There's people that practice it there, um, in New Orleans. So there's a lot down there.
And I
And
also heard,
in fact, you can see things that you're going, oh God, I wish I hadn't seen that.
and I don't even want to talk about the old. I mean, I don't know if they're there. The old shipping ports where the slaves used to come off of.
There's
Man,
things down there in the port area.
they do. There's so much to talk, so much to see, so much to investigate. Man, I think I can spend a week down there. I could spend a month down there, and you would never ever find out
Oh no,
really
you could
everything.
spend you could spend a year down there and not even see a drop in the bucket of what's to be seen down there. I mean, there's so much the history and the different cultures, and it's active down there. It really is.
Mm. And I don't even want to talk about Canal Street with those back, those tunnels that run in between each building. Man, you don't want to go down there. I mean, you might not even come back. You know what I'm saying? It's just, oh yeah. I mean, it's always safe to, go with a group of people or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, I'm really curious to see what the hell is going on down there in the Big Easy. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I mean, have things really got out of hand paranormal wise since Katrina? Have things
Uh,
amplified down there?
it has amplified, um, because the number of violent deaths that happened down there. Um, and as you go, if you go downtown or down in the French quarters and places like that, as long as you stay on the main street and stuff, you're all right. You just don't want to venture off to the side because crime is so bad down there. Um,
Mm,
that's the bad thing.
yeah.
But as long as you stay on the main part of town, you'll be all right down
All
there
right.
around the French quarters.
Okay.
But I'm gonna
Well,
put you in touch with people that'll take care of you and make sure you're all right.
you know what? I will appreciate it, brother. You know what? And if you can come on. We can do this. We can do this together.
All right.
We can do this together. You know what, Bill? One more question. I'm gonna get you out of here, man. You've already, and you know what? You've already. I mean, your bucket list, your paranormal bucket list, is probably New Orleans. Am I right?
Well, I don't know. That's gonna be hard to say
I
on my
mean,
bucket list because
what?
I have experienced things in places that I wanted to be at. Um, I've had experiences in Gettysburg, Vicksburg, um, different places in Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, and I now one place I'd like to go is out in Arizona. Uh,
Mm,
I'd like to maybe go to the OK Corral or something like that.
the
Um,
superstitious mountains.
but
That
I'm content where I'm at. I'm content.
okay?
Uh,
Well, you know what? I
I've
can
seen a
respect
lot.
that.
Uh, now, another hot spot that I was at in Louisiana is in Alexandria. It's the Bentley Hotel. That thing, from the minute I got my dowsing rods and K2 meters out, it just went wild. And we did a private hunt there uh, for a group of people. And
Mm-hmm.
we set REM pods and K2s out up upstairs where it used to be apartments and stuff. It was under construction. And Alex got to talking, and they would go off. So he would point back over here in the back, say the back right corner, to that
Mm-hmm.
REM pod. Can you turn that one on red? It light up red. He pointed another one, turn that one on blue, and it light up blue. Well, what about making this one green? And he'd point at a
Right.
K2 meter and ask it to go off. And he said, I tell you what, why don't everything go off? Everything lit up. It was just the craziest thing we've seen.
Wow.
There's a little girl there. It was Mr. Bentley's niece. She fell down a flight of stairs. The
Mm.
ladies that work in the laundry service, they interact with her all the time. She's in there with them all the time,
Oh
and
wow.
made contact with her. There was a soldier that's seen on one of the floors. There was a guy that the little girl, she went with us. We went through there when I was doing a walkthrough. And I told her, I said, well, come on, you can go with us. And you could feel like a child holding on to the edge of my pants and my shirt. And we got to one room and she balked. She wouldn't go in there. And we asked her, was she afraid? And we got a yes and stuff. So I said, well, okay, you just stay right here and wait on us. And it's a room that one of the cleaning ladies has had interaction there, and it's never good interaction.
Hmm.
And so we went in there and we cleansed that room while we were there, and they didn't have any more problems.
Oh
While my
wow.
well, I had three paranormal teams there working, so we went in there and got rid of whatever it was in that room. But it was a man, and they'd seen him, but he was he tried hurting the ladies,
Right.
and so but everything else was good. Uh, uh,
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's fair that some of these locations are holding spirits hostage for their own personal gain? Because there is so many locations that are saying now that, oh, don't cross any spirits over. They don't want to be crossed over, but clearly, if you ask the spirit if he or she wants to go, why not just accommodate them and send them on their way? Why hold them
exactly.
hostage?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah,
If
but why? I don't
yeah,
understand that.
if a spirit asks for help to cross over, I'm going to help them.
And a lot of people does this for financial gain,
Oh
and
yeah,
to me,
yeah,
I just don't think that's right.
yeah. I don't either.
It's one of those things. I mean, how much enough is enough?
Right, right.
I mean,
Um,
you really do you is that really necessary? How would you feel? I mean, that's technically that's if they were alive, that would be against the law.
that's right. That's right. So,
You know what I'm saying? So, what would make the difference whether they're alive or dead is still considered holding someone hostage.
hostage. Yeah, yeah. I'm like you. If the spirit wants help crossing over, I'm going to help them if I can, and if I can't, I'm going to get somebody to help them.
Exactly. But man, that when I heard that, that messed me up inside. Because it's not right. It's
Yeah.
really not. But okay, well, Mr. Bill, tell the world how to get a hold of you at Magnolia Paranormal.
Well, they can. I have a Facebook page, Magnolia Paranormal Pros. It's spelled the Louisiana way, Preux. Send me a message there, and I'll get in touch with you.
Or you could
I
just
have a
call him like
Facebook.
I did.
I have a Facebook page myself. It's Bill Thompson. Go to it. In that my profile, I'm wearing a suit. But go to it. Send me a message, and I'll get back with you. And
Yeah. You know, guys, hey, if you guys, this gentleman has been doing it for a long time. If you guys, anybody out there, there's watching this, man, if you got any questions and if you want some honest answers, this man is the one that will give it to you. Almost 49 years of investigating. Come on, dude. There's a lot of knowledge for everybody to learn from this young man. So, hey, feel free to reach out to him, message him, DM him, whatever you guys want to do. Hell, I called him.
yeah,
I called him,
yeah,
and he would, he picked up, and dude, and the rest was history. I mean, it took
that's
him a
right.
while to come on the show, but you know what? We're going to be able to hopefully in June. Hey, I would love to meet this guy in person, man, and we can just go out and check out some of these locations and have a good time,
That's right.
because I would love to do that, man. I would love to meet you, brother, and and
Well, I'm looking
maybe
forward to it, Jerry.
and I'm not guaranteeing this. Well, maybe we can zoom over to that little restaurant you were at, and and grab something to eat. Or if you can
Well,
find, or if you can find something similar in New Orleans.
oh yeah, there's a lot. Of course, we'll have to go to Cafe Du Monde and get us a beignet. You got to have a beignet if you go to New Orleans.
Well, I don't know what that is, but I
Well,
guess I'll eat it.
it's a messy pastry. Got a lot of powdered sugar on it, and you'll have white sugar all over your face. You can't help it,
Um,
but it's
is
good.
there a, is there a hospital nearby? I think I might need to go to one after if I eat all that sweet. You know what I'm saying? But man, Bill, I am looking forward to it, man. Send me all that information, and I will gladly link up with every last one of those guys that you send me that information to. And man, I'm looking forward. Hey, I'm really hoping that you come down in
Okay.
June. I just need to figure out. I need to get with my brother-in-law and figure out exactly what weekend we're going down there, so I can let the world know. Hey, I'm coming to the Big Easy, man. And if you guys want to meet me, hey, I'll be at this
There
location
you go.
and let's have some fun. It's no guarantee I'm going to go up there in Charity Hospital to see who's putting that Christmas tree on whatever floor that is, but somebody's doing it, And what's so crazy about it? I don't even think the I don't even think that the police are even going to wants to go in that building and even check it out. You never know, but I think there are some hoarders in there that are living in there. That place is too big and the city is too big for that not to happen.
No,
I don't know.
it's locked down. It's secure.
All right. Well, I hope you know the key. I hope you know somebody that have that key. That would be awesome. That would be a legendary investigation right there.
It
Because
would.
there's so much history, so much depth in that place. And they have can you imagine the size of that morgue that they have, in that place? It's got to be the size of hell of first of hell it got to be the size of the first floor or in the
Yeah,
basement. It's got to be somewhere,
yeah, yeah.
you know
I forgot how many coolers it had. I used to know it one time. Well, I've been down there, Charity Hospital, back in the day.
mm. Yeah, man.
I,
And when I went there, they still had those big old steel doors, and they looked like not prison doors, but those doors for like insane asylums where, man,
yeah,
there's nobody can get in. I mean, it's one of those. Oh my God, dude, the place was amazing. Hell, if I would have had a K2 back then, hell, I probably would have used it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but Bill, thank you for your time, man.
All right,
I know
bro.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. Yeah, even though it took us 6 months to do it, but we actually got it
Well,
done.
next
And
time it won't take as long.
well,
We're
you
gonna
know
have to
what?
do this again soon.
Well, we definitely will, and hopefully I'll see you in June. But
All
either
right.
way, I usually call all my guests that came on the show. I usually call them back in 2 months just to see how they're doing and check up on them, and see if anything changed in their life, and so on and so on. But brother, I really appreciate it. A lot of knowledge within this young man. Like I say, if you guys ever need anything, information, history, anything about Louisiana, I'm pretty sure this man can give it to you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I appreciate everybody that came on the comments, everybody that that looked in on all the platforms that we're on tonight. I really appreciate it. And Bill, again, thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Terry.
You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast in the Lion's Den on this Sunday afternoon. Hey, I wish everybody a good, safe Sunday evening. And hell, I'm going to drink a beer. Hey, you guys enjoy it, man. Peace. Later, Bill.
Later, man.
Have a good one, brother.
All right. Bye.